I was born in Sydney, Australia, but I grew up from 4 onwards in Canberra, Australia. I didn't play sport at all. My family was kind of academic and I wasn't really introduced to sport at all. I was like a fat kid. I didn't do a lot. But then when I was about 14 or 15, I started playing basketball and discovered I had some athletic ability. And yeah, but up until then, I actually was into art. I had like ADD, dyslexia and stuff, and I did terrible in school, absolutely terrible. The only thing I could do was draw, and that's, you know, during a maths class I'd be drawing, doing English class I'd be drawing. So that's all I was doing, doing terrible stuff, and I had terrible concentration. If I didn't like something, I couldn't do it, and if I didn't want to do something, I had no work ethic. My parents are always making me do like really heavy chores and stuff around the house, a lot of moving rocks and piles of dirt, and just endless, right? I hated it, and I just would drag my ass doing it. I got bullied a little bit, but it was never like that. Like, if anyone was bullying me, it'd be like an older kid. Everyone gets a little bit, you know. I sort of didn't know how to take it in some ways, so I didn't handle it too well, and that's one of the reasons why I started martial arts. Like 16, 17, a couple of my friends started Thai kickboxing. They're doing like Filipino stick and knife fighting, and playing basketball, I was playing with a lot of older kids, and one or two kids, like there wasn't many of the younger kids who were playing in this team. It was mostly older kids, so I pushed around a bit, and I just I didn't know how to react to it. I never got bashed up or anything like that, but just kind of pushed around, and just felt a little threatened. So I decided to start doing some kickboxing, and you know, at first that was my motivation, but after about 1 week, I'd just fallen in love with kickboxing and had forgotten all about, you know, the reasons why I started it, and I just liked it for it. It was kind of like an empowering feeling. Just like, I think for me, the feeling of getting better and to learn things and to just sort of progress. Like anytime I stop learning and stop improving with something, I get bored and kind of lose motivation. But when you're starting something out, you know, it's just all these new skills are coming in and you start picking them up. And I did have some talent for it, so I did sort of pick these things up quick, and I really enjoyed that. I stopped kickboxing for a couple of years, and then I started Jiu-jitsu when I was about 20, and then when I was 21 I started competing in Jiu-jitsu, and I was doing well in that. Man, you can spend your whole life doing, you know, one position. I could do half guard forever, and you know, there's still stuff for me to learn. There's just endless things to learn in Jiu-jitsu, so I can never get bored. I did a wrestling scholarship in Japan, right? I did terribly in school. I never got 1A, never did anything. I actually did this wrestling scholarship was in Japan, so I had to, the prerequisite, they liked my wrestling, but they said I had to learn Japanese and pass a test to get into college. And it's the same test everyone else did, the same as the Japanese people, so it was tough. So I quit my job, and within 3 months I went from 0 Japanese to passing this entrance exam. And I mean, you know, I went through whatever years of school, up to year 12, doing nothing, next to nothing, you know, never got an A, never did anything except for art or basketball. And then, you know, through training and whatnot, I guess I had a work ethic, and also because I saw the prize at the end of this was to get my wrestling scholarship, which would, you know, help me out with passion and stuff. So 3 months, 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, plus training twice a day, I'd be studying Japanese. I'd wake up in the morning, study while I'm eating breakfast, I go to my tutor, show him my homework, you know, do an hour and a half with him, go to the gym. On the way to the gym, I'm listening to Japanese, I do my workout, you know, go home, I'm studying again, I got training that night, I come home, I study more, and I go to bed. I did that every day for 3 months, and I passed my exam. And, you know, had I not been doing martial arts and all that, there's no way I would have had that work ethic, because naturally I didn't. I saw my first MMA fight before I started training. I thought it was crazy. I never really thought, hey, I could do this, but I just thought this is nuts. But at the same time, you know, I thought it was a really admirable thing to do. I was thinking these guys are like Superman, you know. I thought, wow, if I could do that, that'd be awesome. But I didn't really think I'm going to do this one day. And back then it was so, there wasn't a lot of it going on, so it seemed like only the very, very top dudes were doing it. It wasn't like this whole amateur building up and everything. I'm not driven by anger or anything. I'm just trying to perform, and that goes with fighting, with boxing, with jiu-jitsu, with wrestling. Once or twice in wrestling matches I've been kind of mad, but generally I just try to stay focused and just think minute by minute what my goals are, you know, and just, you know, very focused in that moment. I want to reach my own potential. I want to give everything I've got, and what I really didn't want was to not give it my all, maybe even not fight, and be one of those guys that was saying, I could have done this, I could have done that. Before I quit my job to study Japanese, I was working for the Australian Federal Police Protective Service, which is a little bit like the Secret Service, but a little lower down. It's like we were security around, I was at Parliament House, which is like the White House you guys got here, so that's what I was doing. I was there for protection of ministers and all that sort of stuff, you know, gun and all that. And you know, it was good pay. Had I not quit that, I'd probably be on like 80,000-90,000 or something right now. And I quit that back in 2005. You know, I could have a house, I could have a very cushy life doing something a lot easier than what I'm doing. And here I am scraping by, but I love what I do. But every so often you have this thought, like you'd be lying in bed, you're aching, you just got beat up at training, you're like, what the hell am I even doing here? Why did I choose this life? You know, I had this easy life here, I could have just coasted through, yet I threw that away, and now I'm going the hard route, and there's not a whole lot of payoff yet. But this is what I want to do. You know, those thoughts are few and far between. And it's not really thinking I should have done this, it's just kind of contemplating, you know, why did I do this, why did I do that? But really this is what I got to do, and I enjoy what I do, I enjoy it every day.